Ladies and gentlemen, we have got a treat today. This is the Oumier Wasp Nano RTA. I've been looking forward to this RTA for quite some time, actually since I got back from NVE from Connecticut. With that said, fuck the small talk, let's go and get into it. Pop this open with the oh shit, I'm digging the graphic design in this bad boy. Just looking at the exterior from this looks pretty titties, but then we open this up and it looks gorgeousness. They got the social media, Oumier official right there, Wasp Nano. Oh, good. Fuck, that is an ugly ass drip tip. That's not even gold, that's like piss ass orange. Now I would understand if this was Delrin, but I don't think this is Delrin. Why would you purposely make a top cap slash drip tip that color specifically? That is an ugly, look at this. This is gold. We're gonna be rocking this, by the way, on the Oumier. I call it the Zelda model. Absolutely gorgeous 18650 device, but this is like a much more shiny gold. I dig the way that it looks. This is much more Ocarina of Time type situation, but look at this mismatched shit going on here. It's almost a 510 right there. So this is your top cap slash drip tip. This is a 23mm tank. It does come with two Pyrex glasses. However, the unfortunate part is that it is not a bubble tank, so it looks like they did this on purpose to make it more TPD compliant. Let me see. Oh, I haven't really explored this much. Oh shit. I like the way that this is set up. Right here, you see this? Let me see if I can't grab my poker. You got this hole and this hole. That's going to be for your airflow. Now, I haven't tried this yet, but I'm digging this airflow setup specifically because it's going to be more difficult to leak. Now, this isn't necessarily new. I've seen this done before, but not quite like this. I like the way that it's set up so far, specifically with the flatheads. You're going to take your coil, you're going to pop it in and turn it. I like that a lot, just for the simple fact that it's easy setup. You feel me? So let's go ahead and see if these glasses are the exact same. Looks like they're going to be. Yep. Identical. Pop this one, Schwegel lamps. Same shit, however, it's not bubble tank. I wonder if I've got a bubble tank that's gonna be compatible with this, but we'll find that out later. Pop this open. Inside the box, we got ourselves cotton. Oh shit, it's not even Japanese cotton. Nice to see some dope shit like this. Nice and fluffy. See if we got any coils to come with it. No? Yes, we do. We got a single coil right there. I wonder what the resistance is. I was gonna use some coil turd aliens right here, but I didn't want to separate this pair. It's a beautiful matching pair, and then this being a single coil RTA, I think we're just going to go ahead and use the single coil. So usually my rule of thumb is to use everything in the box if it comes with it, but I'm not going to use this shit. I've got a ton of these. They're just not very easy to use. For practicality reasons, I actually still prefer these shitty Walmart Stanley screwdrivers. Let's go ahead and pop this bad boy atop of the Oumier. God, those fucking threads. If you guys had, if you're wanting something unique, look at the Asmodus right here. Look how fucking gorgeous that is. Now, let's go ahead and build it. One of the go. Now real quick before we continue with the build, what I want to do here is kind of see how the airflow feels. If it's a real tight sort of situation, I'll use some Nick Salts, coupon code ThesisHimself. That is the sponsor of the channel. Let's go and test this out quick. Nope, this is gonna be wide open little ditty. Probably gonna end up by throwing Mrs. Meringue in that bad bitch by Charlie's Chalk Dust. I want to make sure that these leads right here are not gonna end up by touching the outer deck. But what I'm noticing is this little notch right there that may end up by being on purpose, so that way this chimney right here does not touch those leads, which is what you don't want. You definitely don't want it short. When it's outside of this area, it shouldn't matter, but it's always better to be careful than to take that risk. I'm just gonna take this and kind of push it down some. There we go. It's a little bit crunchier than I'd like to feel, but fuck, for the price, you cannot go wrong. Make sure she fires. Gorgeous. They give you quite a lot of cotton for a single coil RTA. This should last you quite some time, possibly up to what, 5-6 builds. We'll grab this little much right here, just enough to blot the bleeding inside of the old woman vagina. Come on, mother liquor. Popskis right there. Beautiful. God, this is some of the fluffiest cotton I've ever touched. This is so soft. I would put this on in boxers. Straight up throw these bad boys in underwear. This is some of the softest cotton I've ever felt. In vaping or outside of vaping, doesn't matter. So real quick, as a rule of thumb, what you're gonna wanna do is just kind of flatten that just like that, just to see about where you're at for a guesstimation. I'm gonna pop off just a little bit more millimeterage right there. Grab the old tweezers. Let's see if I can't make this a little bit more unified. Bamskis. So right there is where our cotton is gonna sit inside of this little, right outside that little U-well. So right here, I am using Charlie's Chalk Dust Mrs. Meringue or Miss Meringue. To me, it's a lot better than the lemon meringue. It does tend to steep pretty quick. They're not a sponsor of the channel, but I gotta say this is absolutely delicious liquid. If you're looking for something that's strawberry, something meringue-y, but it's got that cream flavor, but there's still tartness to it, almost sour, I would say go ahead and go with this. This is a phenomenal vape. I actually paid cash money at a local brick and mortar after I tested it out. That's how good it was. Pop it just like that. Not a lot, but just painted enough to where the cotton is now pliable and it stays where you want to put it. Just like this. Gorgeous. Get these tweezers, shape it just a bit. Get that shit Instagram ready, you feel me? Now all I'm gonna do is just kind of bend it down some. And what you're gonna want is this cotton to just barely graze the deck. I actually may have ended up by making this just a hair too short, but that's all right. We'll go ahead and go with it for now. Just like that. Absolutely beautiful. Now you don't want to compress it into there, otherwise you're going to have wicking issues. I know a lot of people end up by combing their cotton, but it's just unnecessary with the cotton that it comes with. Nice and snug, not too tight. Keep the airflow wide open. That's how I'm going to know whether or not the flavor is worth it. So like I said, 2 milliliters, a 23 millimeter base, or all around, 23 millimeter diameter rather. And I can't imagine this thing being above, you know, 33, 34 millimeters high, but I'm not entirely sure until we measure it. Let's go and pop her on. God, that top cap is fucking ugly. There's no two ways about it. That is one of the worst colors I've ever, that's not orange, it's not yellow, it's straight up like, I don't know, piss, like donkey piss. Let's go and take our first puff. Good golly, Miss Molly, an ass like that is worth grabbing, you feel me? So I'm not entirely certain on how I feel about the reservoir size. I wish there was a bubble tank, and I almost guarantee you there's gonna be some bubble tanks out there that'll fit. I'm sure that they're gonna come out with the bubble tank for it. I don't know that, that's just my speculation. Why wouldn't they? This is definitely a prime piece, especially for the price. This is one of those simple RTAs that is easy to use, easy to build on, easy to wick. I can't imagine this is gonna be very difficult for a beginner, put it that way, but this is also something that we're an advanced user would love. I like the design. I actually like the logo a lot. That wasp looks fucking dope. And that's coming from someone who's highly allergic to bees, highly allergic to wasps. I know what you're thinking. Punch one in the face, Dane Cook, hashtag motherfucker. But I don't give a damn, son. This wasp looks raw as fuck. Let's go and take another puff. And I even packed that cotton a little bit tighter than I wanted to, but I am rocking it on this mech, not mech. So let's go ahead and grab, see what this bad boy looks like. Because right now, this one doesn't look that great on the Oumier, if I'm being completely honest. The 510 threads on this, by the way, feel fairly smooth. I mean, this is a pretty good platform to test it on, because these are some of the smoothest threads you can get in the industry. As well as this is a Beaver box mod prototype. God bless it, that thing is just fucking gorgeous. Let's see. Look at that, that shit lines up too. Whoo! Oh my God. So right now I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The drip tip and the top cap are almost on the borderline of breaking it. It's a make it or break it thing for me as a drip tip. The fact that I can't replace the drip tip, I'm sure this looks like a cross between a 510 and an 810 all at the same time. But with that said, it's not a huge deal. I just don't like the way it looks. And now that I'm staring at this, there's gonna be a lot of fucking, condensation that's gonna get all up in the drip tip. I just don't like condensation in my drip tips, especially when they're clear and see-through like that. It's just not my favorite thing, you feel me? Everyone's got their preferences. I just don't like clear drip tips. I actually prefer metal ones, to tell you the truth. Let's see, this is a 510. Yeah, so you really can't put one in there because it's tapered. It goes on the inside. It's been a long time since I've used an RTA as a daily vape, since way back in the K-Fun days, and now I'm using a K-Fun 2019 or a K-Fun Lite 2019 version as one of my dailies in the rotation. But with that said, if this was larger, if this had a much larger capacity, I would definitely rock the shit on a continuous basis. The flavor that I'm getting out of it right now is awesome. I gotta say though, there's something to be said about that bottom airflow not being there. I do like the fact that it's less leak, or it's leak resistant with that side airflow on either side. It's a ramped up version of like the Reverie by Tenacious, or even the Recurve by Mike Vapes, with that side airflow. I like that a lot. Let's go and take another puff. The airflow on this thing sounds gorgeous. You're getting all that beautiful poppage going on, and of course that's the part to do with the coil. This is that coil was so consistent right out of the box. You guys saw how it lit up. It was just perfect. I had to do almost no combing of the coils, strumming of the coils. It was just good as is. The Wotofo Troll is by far and away one of my favorite RTAs of all time, and it still stands up after a couple of years. The flavor on it is fantastic. If you take a look at the Wasp, and then you take a look at the Troll, they're extremely similar. It actually looks like someone had taken the time to see what these guys did just in terms of design. Now, of course, there's only so many ways you can make an RTA, but at the same time, you should be able to push it and innovate. They even both have all-in-one top cap / drip tip situations. Look at the top. Now, I'm not saying that this is a clone. I'm not saying this is even inspired by, but if and it was, I could see why. The difference is this is inverted from the Troll. But what I'm nervous about, and I'm kind of curious on whether or not it's going to happen, is the biggest problem with the Troll is when you went to refill, you would get some leakage. In this situation and scenario, I'm wondering if we're going to see a similar issue. The thing that I like about this much more than the Troll though is the fact that it's not that bottom airflow. It's probably going to be a little bit more leak resistant. With that said, when we get back to regular view, I would have actually used this for some hours and I can actually give you a little bit better assessment. With that said, Ninja Kitties, let's go ahead and finish up this review. Welcome back to well, we actually weren't even here yet, so welcome to regular view. First, I want to give a big shout out to Bob Squatch, Bobby Beerman, Bobby Boardman, Bobby, Rob, that motherfucker on the Patreon page, and the Ninja Militia. Happy birthday, bro. It was April 3rd. My birthday's April 10th, and we'll be doing a giveaway, a birthday giveaway for my birthday. It's kind of fun. It's like a reverse type situation. I've had some time to sit with this tank, and I gotta say that a little bit of my fear came true. I did get a little bit of leakage, so what I ended up by doing is just taking the cotton out, re-wicking it, seeing more or less if it was gonna be my wicking or if it was gonna be the actual, the way that the tank was set up. With that airflow, I was kind of suspecting that it was gonna be leak resistant, not anti-leak or leak proof, but leak resistant, and generally it seems like it's been doing that just fine. The only downside, like I said, is when I filled it up that first time with that first wick, it seemed to spit out quite a bit of liquid on the bottom, maybe close to, I don't know, 1/8 of a mil. But once I got that wicking perfect, it was only 2 times I wicked it, all I did was just drop that cotton a little bit closer to the deck, and just a little bit more, it seemed to be just fine. And rocking this at the resistance that I am, 0.18, okay. So at 80 watt, God, this thing wicks fucking fast. That reminds me, so I noticed with this one specifically, I don't know if it's the way that the juice wells or the juice cutouts for the cotton, but it wicks faster than almost any other RTA that I've used. Now here's the one part that I don't know and I can't touch on because I didn't try. I didn't try any other cotton. The cotton that came with, I want to know who makes it, what cotton it is. It's the fluffiest cotton I've ever used. And I've used cotton all the way from COTN cotton with the shoestring, the little aglet at the end of it. There's a bunch of companies doing that now. I've used Legacy, I've used Cotton Bacon, I've used Cotton Bacon Premium, Japanese cotton, shit tons of different cotton, and this one is the fluffiest. I never had to brush it out, nothing like that. I'm curious on whether or not the cotton actually has more to do with the wicking or the speed of wicking than the actual way that it's designed. I love the way that it looks. I don't like the top cap. It just looks like fucking straight up piss, like dehydrated piss to me. You guys are hearing that afterburn. 9 times out of 10 when I get afterburn like that on a K-Fun, it doesn't matter what RTA I'm using, whether it be the Juggernaut, whether it be a Steam Crave, whether it be a Typhoon Authentic, it doesn't matter. When I start to hear that afterburn, I know for a fact I've got to go back in and re-wick. That hasn't been the case with this. I don't know how the fuck that's possible. I wish it was bigger. If you're gonna rock a 23 millimeter setup, if it was 22 mils, that's a little bit different story. I get it. You want to have a small setup. But in terms of a 23, 24, anything bigger than a 22 mil, throw a fucking bubble tank in. I get it. TPD compliance, all that kind of good stuff. And to tell you the complete truth, I haven't seen a bubble tank for it. Doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, at least not at the time of recording this video. With that said, my Ninja Kitties, if you've enjoyed this review, hit that like button, comment below. I want your guys' opinions on whether or not they should do a bubble tank. Do you even like bubble tanks? Come to find out, a lot of people don't. Personally, that's my favorite shit. That's the only kind of tank I rock. On my Freemaxes, on the Falcon King, doesn't matter what tank I'm using, I've got so many aftermarket bubble tanks just to keep laying around in case I get a tank like this, and then I end up by seeing if I have one that fits. Do you feel me? I just enjoy that shit completely. If you guys know of a bubble tank that'll work with this, or if there's a third party making one, let my ass know. I do want to pick one up for giveaway. Huge shout out to the sponsor of the channel, podjuice55.com, coupon code THESIS15, and then big shout out to the Patreon page, the Ninja Militia. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, keeping me independent. Okay, smooth truckers. Now with that being said, I want to tell y'all that I appreciate y'all for vaping with Thesis. It is your boy Thesis. I'm out. How do you wick so quickly?